guess, yeah, it probably helps if I unmute this. Anyway, so some of you may have or may not have noticed I actually did a release on the Prism container extensions last night, and very promptly discovered a little bit of an issue where on iOS the container just cannot be found, and it's well, it's pretty irritating. In any case, this has to do with iOS or Xamarin iOS just kind of trying to extract any assembly that they don't think you need. It's not exactly a new problem. It's just one I kind of forgot when I was doing everything. So actually, I need to kind of add some packages to this little sample right now. So I have here, let's see, what do we have? Are you serious right now? This is killing me. So basically I have a local build that I'm going to try to work with. And this is like really fighting me for some reason. I don't know why. Why is it not showing me the, who is that? DJK Ampros. Well, hello in Montreal there. Yes, so anyway, there is a package missing from this list, which is really weird. I'm not sure why it is missing, because it is most definitely there. Oh, I know why it's missing. It's missing because I'm an idiot. Okay, so let me delete something. You can't see what I'm doing, but trust me, I'm doing stuff. Okay. Okay, so that should fix it. Maybe? Shiny Prism Forms. There we go. Okay. Now I have my missing package. Anyway, so the kind of cool thing that I was working on here was eliminating all of the bloody packages that you had to manage with the container extensions, because it was kind of getting out of control for me to manage, which means it's probably getting out of control for you to deal with as well. Anyway, so what I've kind of done here is I've made it where you'll notice I have this reference to the container, and then I have this reference to the Prism.Forms extended package. There is no Prism dry IOC forms extended anymore. I got rid of it. Same with Unity, same with the Microsoft dependency injection stuff. So basically, if you install the Prism dry IOC extensions, Prism Microsoft dependency injection extensions, that's a mouthful, or Prism Unity extensions, any one of those three, you just install and install Prism Forms extended. And the whole idea is it should automatically detect the container and use it. The same with Shiny Prism as well. Or, you know, that at least has been the goal. So like I mentioned, basically the way that we were doing this was looking at the app domain. So just trying to, so what was it like? I think it's like app domain dot current or current domain, right? And then we're kind of getting the assemblies, right? So this is basically what it does under the hood. The problem with this, of course, is that because there's no reference to our container extension at build, even though we have a reference to the assembly, it just does not get included. It gets excluded. So we have a major fail. And that kind of left us with a couple of options. So one option was I could come in here and I could say Prism dry IOC, right? And then I could do something stupid like, you know, I'm going to have like a little discard variable and say Prism, helps if I spell correct. I can say Prism container extension. Well, I could do create too, but so if I could just do something like that, and then this was literally enough to solve everything, but I didn't want to do that. Because I'm lazy, and well, Actually, the work I put in is not lazy, but I don't want people to have to do that. I think that's kind of annoying. So what I did was something else. The idea here, and we'll see if it works, is I should be able to now just, when I run this, I don't want my iPad. We're gonna run it on the simulator here. So if everything works the way, oh, for frick's sake, I hate this problem. If everything works, we should be able to just automatically launch. There shouldn't be kind of any issue at all. It should be totally transparent. Can I zoom in a little? Yes, I can zoom in. Sorry about that. Hopefully that helps. Really not looking at any kind of code that matters at the moment. But if it helps you. Right now we're just kind of waiting for the build, and we'll see how long that takes. Of course, of course. So, of course there were build errors. Where'd my mouse go? Where did we go? What's going on here? No suitable method found. Why don't we find a suitable method? Let's see here. Okay, so that's not having an issue. I don't know why this is complaining. Doesn't. Oh. Hold on. You're right, it doesn't exist in dry IOC. Why are you trying to find it in dry IOC? That's just weird. Okay. Let me do a clean. Maybe something's screwy here. There's literally no reference to Prism Dry IOC. Well, I mean, for Prism Container Extensions, but there's nothing that should be making it think that that should come in there. But I guess while that's kind of doing its xamarin, let me kind of open up this and kind of show you what's going on here. Okay. So you just updated a 3-year-old Xamarin project from PCL to Net Standard, Xamarin 2x to 4x, Prism from 6x to the latest. Only, yeah. Glad it only took you a couple hours. I know a lot of people have struggled with that. It really is not as hard as people think it is if you kind of take some time to understand what's going on. Yeah, anyway. So let me come in here to Forms Extended, and I'll kind of blow that up as well. So there's a whole bunch going on here with Prism application. So what used to be the case in previous releases for the Prism container extensions was there was a Prism application base extended in here. This is actually obsolete, so you shouldn't use it. In fact, I should probably just take it out. But anyway, so you have in here the new Prism application, which derives directly from Prism application base, and we do all of our cool stuff. And then there is this really magic method that I'm able to do where I can just say, hey, I have a container locator. It's going to locate the container, so we don't even have to have a strong reference. So that is like basically the entire goal here. And I know that this worked in another sample, so now I'm just trying the NuGet because it kind of does something for me. So, okay, now that builds. So let's try this again. Maybe. We'll see how long it takes to build here. I always feel like it's never a good sign when you don't get the progress indicator and you just see like the little indicator in the bottom of the screen like doing stuff. Okay, so let's see how this is working here. Come on. Actually, hold on. Do I have my simulator somewhere? This is my real question: is what screen is my simulator going to start up on? Oh, it didn't. It just died. Never mind. It's one of those times. You notice it did everything it needed to do. There it is. Oops. Get back here. Okay. Okay. Argument null. Oh, that's okay. That's a different issue. We don't care about that. Well, we should, but we don't. We had a consistency issue. We were expected. Well, yeah. Of course we were. Let's kind of test a little something here. Let me try to rerun this. Apparently we had too much magic going on. Okay, so hold on. So you have issues with VS connecting, running emulators, or trying to start emulators. So, huh? What on earth is going on there? Huh. Well, this is no fun. So we never hit our breakpoint. Why are we not hitting our breakpoint? Let's try this. Let's just make sure that we're actually doing stuff that we want to do. Oh, for crying out loud. I just love when it like automatically goes, okay, we're gonna die, you have an exception, we're not really gonna do anything. It's like, maybe retry. I know Pierce watches this from time to time, maybe he's watching now. But this right here is so irritating. Somebody, for the love of God, remind me to tell Pierce, this needs to be fixed. Okay. Okay, so we came into our net, did our net, we're loading our application. What is null? Huh. Okay. So let's try this here. We're going to try. So app equals new app, load application. I don't know why I deleted that. I'm going to have to do that, but debugger.break, and then we'll throw. And uh-oh, yeah. Prism app, there we go. Now that should work, and we want our simulator. Okay. So one thing I'll just kind of point out here, this whole system argument null exception that we keep seeing every single time, this is actually part of hot reload. It's a bug. Actually, as I'm thinking about it, this is the current quote-unquote stable release. So that bug is not fixed in the stable release, but the preview builds, it is actually fixed. Yeah, so we'll kind of step through here. And really, come on. What on earth is null? You know, I just hate that. Like, this is a terrible debugging experience. This really is. Like, why even bother, right? And iOS is actually the one I need to test on. I mean, I can try a device. Hold on. Let me do something here. Let me plug this in. If I can get the plug to go in. Come on. Okay. And at some point here, I'll get a message. And we want to connect to Boot Camp, I think. Yeah. Or no, we don't want to connect that to Boot Camp. I want to go. I said Boot Camp and it connected wrong anyway. I don't get it. We can try. Let me try this. Okay. All right. Well, let's actually ditch the stable version and let's go to the preview version. So let's do this. Get this over. Well, here. Give me 1 second and I'll bring this back over. Where did I put it? Container extensions. Okay. Bueller. Okay. Come on, Visual Studio. Oh my God. Okay. I have to click it like 12 times just to get it to go with me here. Oh, look at that. We just bumped versions, apparently. So, everybody be sure to go and update. That way we can break everyone. I mean, not break everyone. You know what I mean. Okay. Unable to connect. Okay. So we'll try this. Hopefully I can get my phone now. Thank you. There's my iPhone. And let's try to deploy it to the iPhone. See if that makes any difference at all for us. Now, I know that this all worked right before I decided to live stream, so I don't know why I'm having so much trouble. Yes, to answer your question about why I'm not using VS for Mac on the Mac, use VS for Mac. Yeah. I think this is the app. Okay, cool. So you'll notice, by the way, that whole bug where it was like there's a null that was no longer a thing on here. Okay. Cool. So that seemed to kind of work, sort of. Oh, it would help if I shared this with you, wouldn't it? Where is Reflector? Yeah, we can check automatically. Why not? Okay. Screen mirroring. Okay, and it is 0191. Luckily, none of you are in the same building with me, so I don't have to worry about you trying to connect to my Mac, but, you know, it's all good. Anyway, so now we can show, you know, the app doing something. I don't know what it did. It just crashed, I guess. So ain't that oh so much fun? Let's try this now. Oh, we never did hit this breakpoint here. That's kind of interesting. I was having some issues on another sample earlier because of the application resources, so let me just kind of take that out for now. And we'll try to redo all of this. Oh my god, this thing is giant. Okay. Hopefully that's still big enough for everyone to see. Cool. Well, that's not supposed to happen. Okay, so I don't know why this is fighting me so much. This is terrible. Is that on purpose? No, it is not on purpose. It should not be mono. Let's try that. No. That's very strange. Thank you for pointing out the mono audio. Properties, no. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely... How about now? I don't know if that's any better. Let's see. That's actually better. That's kind of hilarious because I just activated mono and now now you're saying it's much better. Gerald, I know that you definitely like to be surrounded by Dan. Okay, so we don't need that breakpoint anymore. Okay. Wow, what in the world is going on here? Error writing, okay. That's so weird. Huh. Well, I don't know what to tell you guys there. I will definitely have to look into why you're getting weird audio after the stream here. So this is really strange that it's like we were on a debug point. Like we were debugging and then it just decided to kill everything. So like it had some sort of hiccup there. Now technically this is the whole hot restart preview, so yeah, it could be a bug that I need to talk with the team about. In case, let's try this again. It was the same on the last stream. Well, I can guarantee you if you guys don't tell me, I don't know. Because I cannot hear the audio that you hear. Let me see. Base contain. Oh, for crying out loud. We were getting so much closer to what I wanted to see. But it does seem that I saw it very, very briefly. I just didn't have it long enough to show you guys. So if we come into Prism Application Base, you see that our container extension is there from the Prism. Well, yeah, it was Prism Dry IOC Prism Container Extension. It flashed very quickly before our debugging session decided to just die on us. So, but yeah, that was what I was trying to kind of validate there. There is one little thing I do believe I need to make a change to. So I need to not pack a target. So let me just make that change real quick. And then don't pack sample. Sample projects should never generate NuGets. I know that might come as a shock. But anyway. Where do we have pull requests? you, pull request. I don't want it in that browser. Thank you. Okay. Let me see. Can you please move? Thank you. All right. Really? Oh. Let me try this. There we go. What on earth? That is just weird. Oh, it's because I'm zoomed in. Never mind. Now it makes sense. So anyway, so let's take a look at this pull request. It should be building, but I'm going to go ahead and merge it. And but I guess we can take a look at it real quick. So, well, oh man, I have a lot of files in here because I also added a sample. Where is, let's remove all of that noise. So basically what you'll find with what's left, I know this is like scrolling really fast. Okay. So there's basically a couple things that I added. So we have this preserve container extension file. And if you look at the path, you'll actually notice that where we're at is in this build folder. So everything in the build folder does not get compiled. It actually gets added into the build folder in the NuGet package that's created. So this is not compiled. What happens is this targets file is, also included in your project when you install the NuGet. And so what we're doing is we're looking at the target framework identifier, and we're saying if the target framework identifier happens to be Xamarin iOS, Xamarin Mac, Xamarin TV OS, yes, I said it, because you can run Prism on TV OS. Or if you're using Mono Android, which technically you don't need this, but throw it in there anyway for good measure. But if you're on any one of those targets, we're going to include this preserve container extension file. So what you'll notice is I'm just kind of adding a preserve attribute with a reference to a type. And this is enough to force, Xamarin iOS in particular to, and really, like I would say, all of the Apple targets, right? That's enough to ensure that that assembly gets included. So we never are going, oh, hey, what happened to, my Prism container extension? So, and that allows it to load automatically. So you notice there's no direct connection, which I think is freaking awesome. Thank you very much. Anyway, so let me come back here and I will just go ahead and merge it, even though it hasn't finished building, because I believe it will. Cool. And so that is taken care of. So the next thing that we'll kind of do is, let me come over to the Prism library and samples forms. And one thing I'll kind of point out, so we just actually, I have no idea, what is it? Senya Andreychuk in Ukraine. So this morning, morning for me anyway, he had submitted a PR to the samples repository. So thank you very much to him for that. You guys, this is entirely up for grabs. Basically, all of these samples here with help wanted, I really encourage you guys to, help out, jump in, pick one, just kind of, it gives you an opportunity to really do something meaningful in open source. So that way it's not entirely on Brian and myself. is just very small, and we've tried to make it as simple as possible. So the issues are already created. All you need to do is jump into the issue and just say, hey, I'm going to take this sample, so that way other people are not working on that sample at the same time. And it really is just a very basic sample is all we're looking for. And I'll just kind of go through here and show the code real quick from this application lifecycle one, right? So again, everything was very, very simple. So he updated the README. The only thing he forgot to do that we'll need to do at some point here is to update the main README as well, just to kind of say that what the sample is. But you'll notice all he did was he added one extra view, View A. That's not really a ton of work, right? And our view model, all we did for that view model was just implement iPage lifecycle aware and threw in a debugger.break in on appearing and on disappearing. So that way, when you run it, you're gonna go, oh, hey, this is happening. It's nothing particularly amazing. That's very simple code, but just enough to demonstrate the concept of using iPage lifecycle aware. And then we just kind of updated the main page here. So instead of this default label from the page template or item template, we replaced that with a button, so that way we can navigate to View A. And on View A, we just go back. So it's very, very easy. There's nothing complex about this, just enough to be able to display the API. So definitely feel free. Like I said, there are a lot of, there's 18 open issues at the moment. Most of them kind of have something going on there. Now this, like logging, like the logging ones, the Shiny Lib, the Reactive Ui, those are kind of spoken for, so we don't need help on those. But the rest of these, definitely feel free to kind of grab and help out. So that's my little spiel on that. So anyway, so let's kind of pick one to update today. So we have 3 logging ones. Those are actually going to take a little bit more work because most people, I think, have no idea what syslog is or logly. You probably know what App Center is, but there just kind of needs to be some docs that goes along with that. So let's kind of show the Shiny Lib and Prism. And I suppose one thing that we can do is, well, actually, I'm going to do this off screen real quick, and then I'll bring it back over. Because I just need to go into some private resources, but we'll show kind of the Azure Devops stuff. So just to kind of give you guys an idea, this is how easy it is for me to do a release. So you can kind of see, here were some builds. Anytime you see the second circle green with the check mark, then we know that NuGets actually got deployed. Here, these were the PRs, so there was no NuGet that was deployed. It was generated, but it was never deployed. And then here, we actually are going to actually deploy a NuGet. So I guess we can give it a minute. I've only given it 3.5 minutes. But let me just take a look and validate some stuff. So if I look in my NuGets, let me just make sure I didn't produce anything I didn't want to. Perfect, perfect. Okay, that all looks good. And I believe this one probably has an extra one, right? Oh no, it doesn't show it. That's interesting. Anyway, so I am going to, so now we'll see, like, this is currently deploying right here. So we should actually have one going to my get momentarily. But I'm also going to create a new release, and this is how difficult it is for me to do releases. Run. Starting run. Done. Okay. Cool. So that is how difficult it is with DevOps. Anyway, so we have that. We'll do the Reactive Ui one. So let me come in here and no repos, Prism samples, and pop-ups, logging, Shiny. Here we go. And I will increase the font size in just a minute for you guys as well. What in the hell? Why in the hell is Link Framework on? That's weird. Don't link. Yeah, that was very weird. Apparently I need to go fix something in these templates. So go ahead and move that. Again, we'll keep it on the iPhone. And so we'll kind of do just like we were doing before. And so let me remove a library here. So I'm going to change it around a little bit here, because I'm going to be using a slightly older build. So I'm going to be using the buggy build. Has an update. Oh, yeah, well, I don't care about that. So we want Shiny Prism. So that one's going to be important for us. Now, I will say, technically, I shouldn't need to do the direct reference on everything, but yeah, it doesn't necessarily kill me to do it. And then we're going to do Prism.Forms Extended. So we'll install that. And then we're going to take dry IOC, take the extensions, okay. So now we should have all the projects that we want. So let me just kind of verify everything here. So I have dry IOC extensions, I have Prism.Forms Extended, and I have Shiny Prism. So those are the three that I want, and this will kind of let me do a few things here. Suppose, let me just kind of see. I'm just going to look at Shiny. Maybe we want locations. We want locations? I don't know. The other thing I will mention, Alan has this integrations package. It just has like a base view model class that you don't really need. He calls it integrations with Prism, but I don't know what you're really integrating, I guess. I don't know. Anyway. This is pretty cool. I don't think I've actually used this one before, the HTTP one. So yeah, let's just do locations. I think that'll be a good one to kind of play with. So go ahead and install that. This will tell us some things to kind of do. All right. So we'll definitely want to keep that README open for a minute or two. Now I'm going to add a Shiny folder here, and then I am going to add a class called Startup. Oops, not Prism. Sample. Startup, thank you. And we'll implement that abstract class. Go ahead and add that. Whoop, whoa, that was definitely not what I wanted. Take that. Someone tell Alan, by the way, his README should really match the API. Just saying. Okay. And so we're going to public class location delegate. What is it expecting? Okay. For iGPS delegate, okay? Cool. Now we'll go ahead and implement that. Let's have a little bit of fun here. Now, we could, of course, do this a little bit more simply than what I'm going to do. I just want to show, well, I kind of want to show off Shiny a little bit at the same time as we're showing off Prism. But I guess before I forget, because I will forget, I should probably update the info P list. Open with the XML editor. Okay. Oh, for the love of God. I hate this reload constantly. Now, Alan shows doing this. I dislike doing it that way. You can, but there's nothing wrong with it. Let me put it that way. I just like code better. Let me reformat this here. Okay. There we go. And I don't really care about UWP at the moment, even though there's UWP app in here. But, okay. So the first thing is that we want this to kind of, let's clean that, and then we'll build. It's because I want it to pick up the new Prism application. So it picked that up, good. And so now for the fun stuff, right? So we'll come in here to our main application. We're going to override on create. And then we are going to say, we're going to bring in using Prism sample Shiny and using Shiny. Okay, so we have the Android Shiny host. We're going to initialize it. We're going to pass in the application, and then we're going to create a new startup. Okay. Then over on iOS, we're going to come over here. And actually, we're going to do some very similar things. So we're going to add Prism Sample Shiny and using Shiny. And then we're going to say iOS Shiny host init. And we're going to create a new startup. I know it's really difficult. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so how fun is that? So now we have registered those things there. I think we're really going to do much, but probably don't want to throw an exception every time. That would be irritating. Return task completed. And let's just go ahead and put a breakpoint on this. So I guess just to be fun, we'll create an event. I'll show you why we don't need to do this, but I'm going to do it just because. So we'll say location updated event. Pub sub event IGPS reading. Okay. And close that out. And now what we'll do, say public main page view model. I want the iEvent aggregator. And get event location updated event. We're going to subscribe and on location updated. Okay. Generate that for us. Call this reading. Okay. So we'll say latitude, and then we'll do longitude next. I don't know why I did not use FODI. This is so much typing. Value, okay, and then private string longitude. Okay, get that. Okay. So then when we get a reading, we are going to set the latitude equal to the reading position latitude. I'm just going to null guard the ever living you know what out of everything. Oh. Okay. All right. So now that should be kind of taking in our reading. And then we're going to have a label where the text is bound to the latitude. Yeah. Love how it formats everything except what's above. Label, text, oops. And then we'll do another binding here. Longitude. And why is it complaining? That's weird. Okay. Okay. Oh, and I forgot to increase my font size again. I don't know why it wasn't large. Hopefully that helps. Nobody said anything, so it's your own fault if you couldn't read. All right, so latitude, and we'll just make this a little bit easier. Longitude. Hopefully I spelled that all right. Yeah. Okay. All right, so we're setting that, and now in our location delegate. So what we're going to do is we're going to say private I event aggregator. Public location delegate I event aggregator. And you may be wondering why EA. It's because I am lazy and don't want to type more than I have to. EA get event location updated event publish reading. Okay. There we go. So now anytime we get a new reading, we're going to publish said reading with the event aggregator. Now some things that you will notice, of course, is I've registered my delegate here. I'm also doing the motion activity, not that we're actually making use of it, but it just kind of gives you a quick idea of how to use it. But you'll notice we never actually registered iEvent aggregator, so that's automatically going to be given to us just because we're using the Prism startup. So everything is taken care of for us automatically. So let's go ahead and run this now. And of course, info plist. Error occurred, line 42. Let's open this back up. Oh. Well, there we go. That would be why. So let's try this again, shall we? 42. Oh, come on. I just fixed that. Okay, so we know it builds. That is bloody irritating. Okay, so we cleaned everything. I'll try this again. What? Why is it so confused? There. Parsing entity name line 40. What? What's going on with this stupid thing? Yeah, close it. I could understand how line 42 was a struggle for it before, but I don't know why it's such a problem now. let's try this. Huh. Maybe we'll try closing Visual Studio. Okay, so now that we've got that closed, let's see here. Connected. There we go. Let's go ahead. And you notice, by the way, as I came up, it showed my iPhone, but we weren't actually connected to a Mac. So that was nice. What failed? Could not find app bundle. Yeah, no kidding, you couldn't find the app bundle. Can't do anything, it seems like. There we go. Now it's working, I think. Now, one thing I will mention, I do actually expect this to fail for the very reason that I did not actually update. So, yeah. So I should see... That's not the bug I wanted to see, but... yeah. We'll try this again. Come in here. Let me do something real quick. That update should actually be available now. Yep, so we'll see that these are all available for update. Let's go ahead and update those. All right. Hopefully we get one good build here before I have to go. We do. All right. No, it just died. Okay. I just realized we're not sharing the screen, but... oh, disconnected. Okay, that's why. Anyway, well, I will have to continue looking into this. For those of you that stuck around, thank you for doing that. Again, hopefully we see some more PRs from you guys on the Prism samples. But I'll probably do some more live streaming on this a little bit later when things quiet down around here. Anyway, hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Talk to you later.